Welcome in, everyone. I'm Renee, the visionary here at the Phoenix Uprising. In this video, you'll see intuitively chosen images, each attuned to the current energy and meant to spark your inner knowing. This is a collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest for others. These messages are offered for guidance and inspiration, not as a substitute for professional advice. Let's begin by clearing the space. You'll hear 3 chimes starting now. If you have a question for Source, offer it to the universe and be ready to receive with an open heart and mind. All right, let's begin. I'm hearing rock the boat. I feel like that phrase speaks to moments when stability or routine is disrupted. Now, this could be from external events, internal conflicts, or your own desire for change, right? This can feel unsettling, but Spirit is reminding you that not all disruption is negative. Rocking the boat can be beneficial because it forces growth and it clears stagnation and opens opportunities that wouldn't appear if everything remained the same. For example, there may be a project at work that you feel could be risky to propose to the higher ups, but presenting your idea could actually lead to recognition or promotion for you. It could also be in a relationship. Maybe there's a conversation that is going to be uncomfortable, but addressing some of those unspoken issues can lead to a healthier, deeper connection. It could also be trying a new creative outlet, a hobby. You might feel uncertain about that, but it actually could unlock some hidden talents and bring you a lot of joy in the process. Spirit is encouraging discernment. Some disruptions are vital for your evolution. I feel like small, deliberate actions are the key because not all change requires grand gestures, right? Gentle shifts can create ripples that spark momentum in your life. Rocking the boat doesn't have to create chaos. When approached intentionally, disruptions can open pathways. They can remove blockages and guide you toward alignment. I'm seeing the word courage. Well, courage reminds you that stepping forward, even into uncertainty, is necessary for your growth. Adapt. The word adapt emphasizes the importance of being flexible and responsive to the change that's happening. Balance. This highlights discernment and harmonizing intuition with your own logic, right? Spirit animal allies. I'm seeing the falcon and the otter. What do we know about falcons? Well, the falcon sees the entire landscape from above. They identify opportunities and potential hazards because they have a broader perspective. I feel like that energy is teaching strategic disruption. Rocking the boat only where it serves your highest good, right? You need to rise above turbulence and see the full picture and act with awareness. A well-timed disruption can prevent bigger issues and open up long-term opportunities for you. The otter talks about playfulness, adaptability, and joy. The otter moves fluidly through water, and of course water we often associate with emotions. They turn challenges into playful problem-solving opportunities. I feel like the otter energy is reminding you to find curiosity, joy, and flexibility, even in uncertain moments. You can rock the boat with awareness, joy, and courage, embracing the disruption as an opportunity rather than a threat. I see the Tower, the Fool, and the Six of Swords. Well, the Tower represents a necessary upheaval, right? That's what we've been talking about. Clearing away structures, habits, patterns, thought processes that no longer serve you, and making space for new opportunities. The Fool encourages stepping into the unknown with courage and trust. Change, even when risky, can lead to liberation in your life. The Six of Swords signifies the transition and moving toward calmer waters or something that's meant for you. This is reassuring you that the forward progress is already underway. I'm seeing aloe vera. Well, aloe vera symbolizes healing, protection, and resilience. Just as it soothes burns, it reminds you that discomfort and disruption are temporary. Aloe energy supports recovery and self-care and emotional balance during times of change. I'm seeing aquamarine. Aquamarine is the stone of courage and clarity and emotional balance. It helps you navigate turbulence with calmness and strength. It enhances your communication skills. Carrying or meditating with aquamarine encourages you to flow with change rather than trying to resist it. I'm seeing 707. 707 signals spiritual alignment, personal growth, and awakening. It encourages trusting your intuition and embracing this disruption. Even when the boat rocks, Spirit supports your forward path and your alignment. I feel like there's going to be an opportunity for you to bring in multiple income streams. They may be small at first, but I feel like they're going to evolve into something that can actually sustain you. This reading emphasizes the value of intentional disruption, moving past those ruts that we all get in, moving past the patterns and the routines that we inevitably fall into. Change doesn't usually come unless you change something about that routine. Now, of course, there are outside influences from time to time, some of which can blindside us, of course, but I feel like here you're being asked to intentionally make changes. It's not enough to sit back and wish for things to change, and yet you still do the same things every single day. Sometimes we don't realize the routine that we're in until we take a step back or use that higher perspective of the falcon to really understand that we have the power, right? We don't need to look externally for things to be different. The change that you desire in your life starts with you changing one thing. What is one thing that you can change in your routine that will bring you closer to your goals? I feel like the falcon and otter are teaching you strategic insight paired with playful adaptability. You have to be adaptable. Adaptability is key because one thing that you can count on is change. Sometimes change comes about because we were not taking the steps to move things along of our own accord. I'll use myself as an example. I was out of shape. I'd let myself get out of shape for whatever reason. Here, there, it doesn't matter. But I found myself struggling and seeing blood work come back that wasn't great, Cholesterol is up. Moving into pre-diabetic, right? Now, if all I did, which is what I did in the past, was sit at home and wish for things to be different, and yet I never changed one single thing, how is change going to come about? Well, the sad thing is that if that was allowed to continue, the change would not be good, right? That sort of change, when you refuse to make changes on your own, there would have been changes forced upon me that I wasn't ready for, right? because I'd let my health decline. You know what I mean? So what did I do? Well, I started making small changes. Right, confirmation. Okay, so I started making small changes. It was hard at first. It's hard to get out of your own way sometimes. You know? You want things to be different, but you don't know where to start. You get overwhelmed, so you just don't do anything. At least that's the way it was for me at first. I started simple. And, I've talked about this before, but I bought myself a shaker plate. I did that one thing for me. The thing is, you can buy all the equipment in the world or the memberships, and you know what I mean? But it doesn't do you any good if you're not going to actively participate in those things, right? And you have to show up for yourself when you don't feel like it. Because if you wait until you feel like doing something, right, I would probably still be sitting on my couch, because the body resists change. It likes to be in a setting of comfort, and it's amazing what you can be comfortable with. Things creep up on you, you know what I mean? You don't get out of shape overnight. You don't pick up bad habits that are detrimental to you overnight. It's small choices that you make consistently that bring about bad habits. The same is true to reverse it. So, got myself a shaker plate, started doing that every day. And at first it was terrible. I don't know if you've ever stood on those, but when you stand on them, they sort of make you a little dizzy and, you feel discombobulated. The key with that, if you're going to buy one of those, is finding a point on the wall or in the room to focus your attention instead of trying to look around the room while you're being shaken. Okay? Just a tip. I implemented that. Then I started meal prepping, and I got serious with it too, It's about consistency. You are worth showing up for. You are worth the time that it takes to meal prep, to exercise, to meditate. All of these things. You're worth the time. Now, I understand that some people are busier than others. What it is about is you making the time to do that thing. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, right? 10 minutes. You can find 10 minutes to work on you if you want it. It may mean you getting up earlier than everyone else before the day gets started, right? Or going to bed after everyone else is asleep. Taking 10 minutes out of your lunch break at work, right? Where there is a will, there is a way. Period. So I started meal prepping. That helped tremendously, you guys, because I'm one of those people that I would put off eating. I would wait till I was like a ravenous beast, and then I would want something right then, right? So then it was, okay, I don't feel like cooking. I don't, just a host of excuses, right? I don't feel like cooking. Nothing is thawed from the freezer. You know what I mean? It's amazing all the excuses that you give yourself to go out to McDonald's, which is what I did. But if you have all the things meal prepped, and the thing is, it doesn't take as much time to do that as you might imagine. It's amazing how much meal prep you can actually get done in 1 hour. Now, of course, I set myself up for success. How do you do that? Well, I sat down and made a list of all the things that I would have to accomplish in order to get this meal prep done. And I put those in order that would allow me the least amount of stress, because I'm one of those people that if I get overwhelmed or stressed out in the midst of something, I'm over it. At least that's who I was. Planning has done a lot for me. And the thing was, I'm not a huge planner, but if you can implement some planning, it can reduce the stress of trying to get that task done. So now I'm doing the shaker plate, the meal prep, and I've started walking. Now, for me, that wasn't particularly easy because I was in a car wreck when I was young, the passenger in a car wreck, and it was a pretty bad car wreck. And so my hips give me problems from time to time. I was stuck in that loop of needing to exercise, but being in pain, right? It really does feel like a merry-go-round. You need to exercise, but you can't exercise because you're in pain, but you need to exercise to work through the pain, but you're in pain, right? And the shaker plate has helped with that, by the way. It helped with stability of the joint, and it also helped build the muscle up around that joint without having to do a lot of walking when it was still hard to do that for me. That actually helped build up my hip joints and the muscles around those joints that support it. Because at first I did try to just do the walking, and I could walk, but I paid for it the day after, you know what I mean? And then I didn't want to do it anymore. So the shaker plate helped with stability and getting me to a point where I could start walking. That's how bad I'd gotten. I couldn't even start to exercise. Like, I would do these routines that I saw online, tried to follow some routines, and I was so out of shape that I couldn't even do the warm-ups, you know what I mean? Like the warm-ups, I was huffing and puffing like, oh my God, this is the warm-up. That kind of out of shape. So I got my body to a point where I could actually start exercising. Now, I'm walking, and I'm doing it every day, but I'm not walking long, I don't push my body till I regret it the next day. First of all, you have to get to know your body, okay? Know thyself. You have to know thyself before you can heal thyself. You have to know your body. You have to know your limits. And for me, I push myself just a little bit further than I think I can go. And that's it. I don't kill myself to try to reach some unattainable thing. Slow and steady. That's my motto. Because any bit of walking that I can do is better than I was doing a year ago. You know what I mean? Start out with a minute. I don't care, 30 seconds, whatever it is. Start somewhere. When I first started, I could walk about 2 minutes before I had to sit down. Huffing and puffing kind of sit down, right? And that was okay. I started going later at night when there wasn't all eyes on me, you know what I'm saying, during the day. And I've worked up now. I reached my 10-minute goal tonight, as a matter of fact. 10 minutes of consistent walking without having to sit down. And for me, that's huge. That's huge. So I've reached that goal, and I'm going to stay there a while. I'm not going to try to run up to 20 minutes. That is a goal. But, we don't have to go from 10 to 20, because when you do stuff like that, you get overwhelmed, you get stressed out, and you have to make micro goals between those big goals. Because if you don't, if you're looking down the barrel of a large goal, it seems unattainable, right? And you just want to give up because you don't think you can get there. You can get there. If it's cleaning your house, start with the closet. Start with the bathroom. Make micro goals. That's how literally I have gotten to the point that I am now. Am I where I want to be? No. It occurred to me that I have all these big goals that I want to achieve, right? I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to walk on the beach, walk downtown in Charleston and look at all the art. But how are you going to do all this traveling and all this if you can't even walk for 2 minutes without being winded or feeling like your hip is going to fall out onto the street? You have to start small. I know that was a tangent, but I feel like somebody needed to hear that, okay? Moving on. I feel like for some forward movement for you will be spring, particularly March, especially with the aquamarine. And I could be wrong, but I think that aquamarine is the birthstone for March. And you could be born in March, or maybe March is significant for you. Spring is a time where all things are renewed, right? And I feel like it's not that you should start these things or rocking the boat in March. You should start implementing them now so that in March you will really see a difference. It's amazing what 6 months of consistent showing up for you can look like, friends. I encourage you to do that. Even when the waters feel turbulent, the rocking of the boat is purposeful. I feel like you need to trust your intuition and act with awareness and purpose. Embrace the lessons and opportunities that this disruption brings. And let this change be on your own terms. Don't let the change come about because you refuse to look at things that needed change, right? You don't want change forced upon you because you didn't take consistent steps on your own. May you be highly favored and abundant in all good things. I'd like to leave you with today's food for thought quote. Smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Stay true to yourself, trust the journey, and step boldly into your next chapter. Only up from here, and together we rise.